Welcome back. For the upcoming videos, we are going to dive into the rare code of React Native. The way I have structured this tutorial is that we are going to use some demo projects to explore React Native ecosystem. So because of that, we are going to build this to-do application along the way. So we are going to talk about React Native core component and talk about how to manage state in React Native and styling, and lastly about how to render data in React Native. So if you look at the demo application we are going to build for this series on iOS, as you can see, when we add to do, let me add to do, for example, cleaning 2, add it, go to the bottom, as you can see, it has been added and I can scroll as that. And on my Android, let me make this one climbing 3 or 4 and then hit enter, and as you can see, it also has a scroll bar here, scroll view, and as you can see at the bottom over here, and unless you make sure you handle this one well before you're able to see it at the bottom. So this is the application we are going to build for upcoming 2 or 3 videos. So let's get started. Before we get started, let's head towards to our terminal and then let's create a fresh React Native application. So let's make use of the command expo init and then the name of the project. I'll make this one my to-do app. Hit enter and then let's wait for a couple of seconds and let's select blank. Hit enter and then let's give it a couple of seconds, and then when it finishes, you will come back. Finally, it has been created successfully. So let's cd in to the name of the project by making use of the command cd my to-do app. And then if you're using VS Code, you can make use of this command code and then dot, hit enter. Otherwise, you can manually open it in your preferred editor. Alright, so let me rearrange my desktop well and have this one here. Let me bring it here like that, and this one like that. Okay, let me make it a little bit bigger and then like that. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the React Native component. So let's head towards to reactnative.dev, go to Google and then search for reactnative.dev. So as you can see on the official documentation, we are going to start with the component. So if you have worked with React.js for the web, you might see this things looks familiar to you. Alright, so let's get started by clicking on the component, and remember, you are not going to make use of all these components in your future projects, but there are some common ones that you need to know. So look here, it says that core components and APIs. We have the basic component user interfaces, and when you scroll down, it says we have the basic components that is a must, you have to know. One is the view, text, image, text input, style sheet, scroll view, and others. Alright, we'll be talking about most of these common ones that are being used on daily basis. So the first one we are going to talk about is the view component. So when you click on the view component, so let me give you a tutorial aspect of the view component. I think I've explained this one in my previous video. So a view component is a wrapper, right, that is used to build your UI. So if you are working with React.js for the web, you'll be familiar with a div, right? So a div for the web is the same as view for React Native. So let's get started. So for this one, let me start launching the application. So let me make use of yarn start or expo start. If you're using npm, it will be npm start. And as you can see, it is starting our application for us. And because I already have my, why is it freaking up like that? Okay, let me push this one here. Sorry guys. Alright, so let me look at my terminal. Where is my terminal? Alright, it's here. So let me make use of the commands. You can use your phone. If you want to test it on your phone, you can scan this QR code and it will open for you on your phone. Make sure you have Expo installed for Android and iOS as well. I explained this one in my previous video. So let's open this one in Android by pressing A, or you can go to the website, the console here, and you can make use of this command: run on Android and run on iOS. Any of this one will work. Alright, but because I have mine been running, so I have to refresh my simulators. So let me refresh this one by making your Command R if you are on Mac and Control R if you're on Windows. And for the what do you call it, Android, make use of Command M for Mac and Control M for Windows. So let's make sure that it's running. Now it's building for the which one, Android, and let's wait for it to build. So whilst we are waiting for it, let's head towards to our folder and then let's get started. For now, we're going to code everything inside the app component. So let me click on that. Sorry, let me make it a little bit smaller like that. Good. So as you can see here, by default, this is almost the same as React. Sorry guys, React for the web. We imported this one from Expo and then React from React, and the difference here is from React Native. We first make use of Stylesheets. I will come back to that. This one is help us to apply CSS to our React Native component. And the text is a wrapper. Anytime you want to display any text, you need to wrap it in the text. And the view is a wrapper, like I said. So right now, let me remove everything, even everything from here, my text component here, like that. So I will come back to the how to style. So for now, let's maintain this one and then let's move forward. So we are going to talk about two components in this video. That is the text input. Because we are going to build a to-do application, you need to find a way for the user to type in something, right? So for this one, I will make another wrapper called view, and in there I want to apply my styles on my second view, right? Let me cut this one and then paste it inside the second one. For now, don't worry about the styling. When I'm talking about components, we have a video on styling only. So here, let's import text input. So when you head towards to the official documentation, you can see we have text input here, and look at the props it takes, right? So if you have time, you can go through the important props here. You make use of most of the important ones here. So let's get started. So let's import it above here, but before you move on, I have a snippet extension installed called ES7. I think I've explained that. ES7 React Redux by DS Niger. I don't know how to pronounce correctly, sorry for that. So for this one, you'll be able to have auto import of component and your custom component as well. So let me quickly import text input from here. So the text input help us to enter text or feed our application with text. So it's like a form input. So in React Native, it's called text input. So here, since it's a component, I want to wrap it like that. And this one takes a couple of props. The first one is called placeholder. Would I give a description of what it does? So let me make this one enter to-dos, right? And the second, so for now, let me maintain this one. Let's see what we have. And as you can see, we have, let me refresh again. I think you cannot see anything here. That is how we're expecting it, because by default, React Native does not come with predefined styling. So we have to do everything from scratch. right? So let's create a style. So anytime you want to apply a style to your component, we have two ways, whether inline styling or by using the Stylesheets API or component. So for now, just code with me, and then let me quickly, for now, let me even trash everything from here for now. All right, and then let me start. I'll talk about how this one works, but in briefly, what it's saying is that we have to import the style sheet from React Native, and then on that we have a function, and this function takes in an object, and the object are the properties or the CSS properties you're going to use to apply on your view or your component. So the first one is, let me make use of container. Let me call my property name as container, because the way we style React Native is by using JavaScript object, like as we see here. So here now we have a property and a value. So the first one with a pattern, right? And the pattern, let me make use of 60. Remember guys, anytime you're making use of CSS properties here, you may be thinking we can make use of pixels or EM or rem, right? But in React Native is a fixed value without the unit. Bear in mind with that. So now, next one, let's apply some styles on the text input, because by default you don't have a way of seeing what is on the screen. So let's get started about that. So let me label my value as called text input. It can be anything of your choice. So here I want to have a padding of the text, my text input as 12, and let me make it a border color. Right? If you have worked with React Native for the web, you may be seeing that all the CSS properties are camel case. It's not like border dash color. No, it doesn't work in that way. So here for the border color, let me make it of hash and then my triple 6 zeros, right? And let me make it a margin bottom of let me say 10, right? And then border width, let me make it of let me say 1. All right, so when you head towards to the React Native documentation, when you come to style sheet, let me search for style sheet, you'll be able to see all the CSS properties that, where is it? Let me search. All right, why my search isn't working? Okay, style sheet here, and as you can see, we can read more about applying CSS CSS to your React Native component. Like I said, I'll have more sessions on the CSS part. So let me search for the CSS properties that you may need when you're working with React Native. Okay, I'll find a way. I'll try and search for all the CSS properties you may need in React Native. So let's get continued. So as you can see right now, we have something being visible right now on the screen, but let's apply the style to the text component, text input, so we have to make use of all the React Native component has a style property, right? So for this one, we're going to make use of the style instance we make here, and any of the properties we want to use, whether .text input, because I want to apply these CSS properties on my text input, so it will be dot like that. All right, so oh, sorry for that sound. So we want to apply these CSS properties on this text input, so you have to look at it property name called text input, so it will be dot text input. Save it and let's look at what we have. Right now we have it nicely laid out, even though it's not the best of the world, but it's okay for now. So next is, let's find a way of allowing the user to click and then take the input, the data from this text input, and do whatever we want with it. So that's one brings us to another component called button, right? So let's import it from here and import it as button here, and below it of my text input, let's bring in the button like that. And this one takes a couple of props, the title. So let me make this one add to do. Alright, so let's save it and let's see what we have. Alright, it looks different on both Android and iOS, but we'll find a way to fix that. So the next one is, let's look at the props that this button takes. So we'll head towards the documentation and then you click on, what is it? Buttons. Yes, this button. And as you can see, we have this prop on press, title, color, disable. So at your free time, we can test all this one. So what we are going to make use is called the onPress, which is a function that calls and take the value from text input and do what we want with it. Alright, so let's continue with that. So here, let's make use of onPress, which is a function. Okay, we're going to pass in a callback function. So anytime this function is triggered, the function we pass into this onPress is gonna call. So the main idea is that we want to grab the value from this text input, right? So for now, let's display something to the console by passing in an anonymous function like that, and let's say I was clicked. Let's save it and then let's click and see. So let me click on that. Let's see, I was clicked. On Android, the same thing, I was clicked. Alright, so on the text input, we're also going to have a prop called onChange text. So this onChange text is going to grab whatever it is inside this text input. So let's get started with that and then we end this video. So let's call this one, the prop name is called onChange text. And it's also, we pass in an anonymous function, and this function takes in one argument, and that argument represents the value inside the text input. So I'll call this one text, right? And then I will console log the text. You may be thinking maybe it will be e.target.value for the web, so it's just the text. So if here is value, it can be, let's make it a value here so it will be clear for you to see. So the reason why I didn't bring the bracket is that for ESCs, if we have one argument here, parameter here, we can ignore the bracket. So let me save it and then let's try to enter something. Let me say go. Let's see what we have. Any change, any input or click, this function will get fired. So now we have the fundamentals being laid out. So in next video, we are going to talk about styling, and then the next video we talk about state, and then we finalize our application. So thanks for watching.